All right. Well, welcome back to Chop and Roll, the college football podcast where every week we break down the biggest games, call out all the nonsense, talk ball like you're hanging at the tailgate with the buddies. I'm Todd, a lifelong Seminole, and rolling with me as always is Baker, the Alabama fan who hasn't had a bad season since 2007, probably. I don't know. But we're talking wins, losses, coaching chaos, everything in between. So buckle up, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get into another week of college football. And Baker, I know we got a special guest with us today. So you ready to roll or what?
Yeah, excited. Our first time having a guest on the podcast. It is the great TJ Pittinger, who is world renowned, and I know I can say that because 9 years ago we went to the LSU or Alabama at LSU game. Friday night, we're on Bourbon Street, and we're there for like 10 minutes, and this guy comes running up to TJ. He's like, "Oh my God, you're TJ Pittinger!" And I was like, "Man, I am like this guy's for real." And TJ, I know you've now made this kind of your full-time gig, and you've got a lot of irons in the fire. So, you want to talk about just kind of what you're up to nowadays, and we really appreciate you coming on and taking some time with us tonight.
Yeah, no, I mean, Baker and I have been buddies since he was an assistant coach. Well, sorry to give your age away, but
Yeah,
he
that's all
was
right.
assistant coach when I was in high school.
I'm not worried about that anymore.
So I do feel like you get to a certain age and you're like, nah, whatever. So yeah, for quite a while, because every year that passes, I'm like, wow, that was another year ago that I was in school. But no, I started. I mean, just kind of like what you guys are doing, man. I started this as like man, I have college football takes and I want to talk about it. And I don't care if anybody listens, but I'm going to do it and it makes me happy. So here we are. And for some reason that has grown, and I got laid off about 3.5 years ago from a recruiting job. And it was right before the football season in 22. And I just kind of was like, well, you know what? I know I can make it through football season at least with the content that I have planned out. And I told my wife, I was like, I'm not going to get a job until I have to. And so 3.5 years later, I haven't had to go get a job and yell into a microphone on YouTube for a living at this point. So it's a lot of fun, and I appreciate you guys having me, because if Baker just called me up and wanted to talk about football, like, I would do it. So whether we were recording or not, it's kind of a fun thing to do and cool. And so I've got no complaints.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to have you. And I guess we can get started with the topics. Sorry, Baker, but we're going to have to start with the Oklahoma Sooners and them stunning Alabama for the second year in a row,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I know I told you earlier, and I think I sent you a text. I didn't like this matchup from the beginning. I kind of saw what Oklahoma's defense did to Jalen Milroe last year. While I think Ty Simpson is a much more capable quarterback, he's still inexperienced as a starter, right? He's got nine starts under his belt or whatever it is at this point. And Venables does a great job of mixing up looks and bringing pressure. And I think our lack of running game, which we talked about, kind of reared its head a little bit. And then we had untimely turnovers. Ryan Williams, and I don't know if you guys saw the play. The guy timed his punch with the ball perfectly. I can't fault Ryan Williams for that. But untimely turnovers, the early punt return, there was clearly a block on the back. I'm just saying that they didn't call. And still then we missed field goals where, we just didn't play. We didn't play well, which is disappointing with as much on the line as we had and playing at home. Now obviously it puts a little more pressure on us, for the next couple of games. And if we make the SEC championship, if we lose that game, what does that look like? I think if you win the Oklahoma game, you're in no matter what. And now I don't know if you can really say that as a Bama fan. Yeah, disappointing, but season's not over, and that's the good part. And I'm trying to keep that in perspective and not lose my stuff over one loss, which is now 2 losses on the season. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Got a lot to
And
play for still.
sure. Yeah. And I'm sure it stings right at home and 2 years in a row. And, they feel like they got your number. But I still think you guys beat yourselves. I mean, you guys had 3 turnovers or 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 turnovers. One was a pick six, right?
Pick six.
And then the sack and strip fumble with Simpson.
Yep.
And you missed a field goal. Right?
And missed field goal.
So, you can't spot a team like Oklahoma that many gifts and expect to survive it. You know what I mean? Like, and if you look at it statistically, they didn't dominate. at all. I mean, don't even look at the box score. I just think Alabama kind of beat themselves. You
Yeah,
know,
Ty Simpson, I think, still threw for like 340 yards. And coming off of that game, I would have said it's probably one of his worst games he's played, but it was really the pick six that made, that's what stands out because that's the big play. But like I said, it's, all's not dead. We're still there. We'll see what the committee does tonight with Alabama. Clearly, Oklahoma will be in front of them, and that's, can't argue with that. But yeah, I like where we're at. I'm okay. We're good. I kept it together.
did you get a chance to watch it, TJ?
Yeah, I mean, less on Bama, but more on Oklahoma. Yeah, I think Bama's fine too. I think they should probably be ranked ahead of Notre Dame, but I think Notre Dame's logo is probably why they're ranked as high as they are, and that's a personal pet peeve of mine with the latest rankings. It's crazy that Oklahoma has gone on the road 2 times in the SEC and been outgained by 400 yards and won both games.
Yeah.
But they, and credit to Venables, like they asked him, like, well, you winning these games, but you're not winning this, and he's like, defense matters too. Like, you can score that way, and they've done it back-to-back times on the road in the SEC. And I don't know that you can count on that every single week, but shoot, man, like, hats off to them. I think a lot of people left them for dead after that Texas game, after Mateer was banged up, and I was thoroughly impressed. I thought Bama certainly cost themselves at times, but previewing this game this week, I very rarely get things right. But I said whichever team can capitalize on the other team's turnovers, and Oklahoma, I felt like there would be turnovers in this game, and Oklahoma certainly did, and scored 17 points off of mistakes, and Bama had chances and didn't take advantage of them. And I don't know, Baker, I don't know about you. We haven't talked about this, but I thought they played with fire a little bit against South Carolina. They didn't look overly impressive against LSU too. I know that's a rivalry, and so maybe they needed this, and you go into the Plains in a couple of weeks and win that one, go win in Atlanta, they'll be fine. But it seemed like they were able to kind of get themselves together after that Florida State loss, and it would not shock anybody if they did it again after this one. Just kind of pulled it together and got that wake up call.
I think what's disappointing is we were on such a roll heading into the bye week, and you're thinking, all right, an extra week to get ready for LSU, an extra week to get healthy. And we came out kind of, I don't know if we just expected to beat LSU or we just lost kind of some of our edge, but I think it carried over into the Oklahoma game. It's been 2 games in a row, you're right, where we haven't played our best ball. This week's not any better when we play Eastern Illinois or, whoever it is. But then you go to Auburn. And I mean, that's never, I don't care if they have 12 players total. You go into Jordan Hare, that's going to be a war every single time. So we'll see. We'll see what DeBoer can do. He's proven for the most part to get the guys up and ready for these types of games. If he's going to be a championship coach and long-term coach at Alabama, he's got to prove himself when it matters. So we'll see.
I mean, the biggest problem for them is the running game.
Yeah, we can't run the ball.
That's where it gets real. Like, it's non-existent, right? And when you can't run the ball and everything falls on Ty Simpson, that's not going to be fair to him because he's basically has to be perfect on every single snap, right? And perfect reads, perfect, throws, decisions, all that. And there's no one behind him to back him up with a running game. So that pressure at Alabama to be the quarterback and have to put all that on his shoulders, even somebody as talented as him, that's kind of where Oklahoma, I think, took advantage of that, right? They pinned their ears back, made him uncomfortable, forced mistakes, blitzes, mixed it up. And, that's been the same thing they've done 2 years in a row to the quarterbacks over there at Bama.
Yeah.
But, I just don't think it was about talent. I don't think it was about athletes. I just think it was about mistakes, execution. Oklahoma made the plays and Alabama didn't, right? And until Alabama finds a running game and protects the ball.
And a field goal kicker.
We might see this movie again in Auburn,
Yeah. Auburn's got a good defense. It's not Oklahoma.
It's not quite Oklahoma level, but it's stout. I mean, they're good. They could definitely force some turnovers, and
their problem is probably going to be capitalizing on them.
Yeah.
Like, Oklahoma's got enough talent, I think, offensively to make you pay. Obviously, if you take one back for a score itself, like Oklahoma has done a couple of weeks in a row. But I think Bama could play a B- game and still probably win, but you just can't be any worse than that,
Yeah. I mean, and Alabama's defense in this game truly, really gave up 7 points. They were put in short field positions a few times, but I mean, I hate to keep just beating a dead horse, but like if we can't run the ball, like the season's going to end of like sooner than later. It just is. You can't be a playoff team and make a deep run and not be able to balance your offense a little bit. And I think Grubb over the past few games, he's getting a little cute with the offense because I know he can't run, or he knows we can't run. And I'm not crazy about that as kind of a traditionalist with football, but I don't know if that's what you got to do to, to get a little edge in the rushing game. I guess we do what we need to do, So,
Well, switching
I don't know.
gears, does Bama still control its own destiny?
I'm going to say yes. I think they're still in tonight. They win at Auburn. I think they're fine. My question would be if they lose the SEC championship to say Texas A&M and have 3 losses, does the committee still put them in? My thought is yes, because that win would be against the number, top 1, 2, or 3 Texas A&M team if it were to happen. But I don't know. Stranger things have happened. You guys know. You're Florida State fans.
Yeah. And what, TJ, what do you think about that?
You guys went undefeated and got left out of a stinking playoff.
Yeah. TJ, do you think that because the ACCs may only have 1 now, they're saying, or 2, maybe, that lets Alabama get in as well?
Sure. I think Notre Dame's a problem, them taking up a spot. Yeah, and then it comes down to the ACC, but they're saying the SEC might get 5 teams in the playoff. I mean, Alabama's got to be one of those 5, right?
Yeah, there's no way they fall behind Vandy because head to head.
Right.
I mean, my thought is you should not be penalized. I mean, it's different if you go lose a game by 30 on Championship Saturday, but you should not be penalized for qualifying for a game that other people sat home from. Like, there has to be a winner and loser on Championship Saturday. And so if we're saying you're one of the best 2 teams in your conference, or most successful, right? Best may be subjective, but you were one of the most successful teams in the best conference too. We're not going to penalize you for losing that. Now, again, if you lose by 30, there may be a discussion to be had, right? And we're going to find this out in the Big 12 too with BYU if they lose to Texas Tech again. Like, are they going to get penalized for having to go and play a top 6-ish team if they keep it close? And my take is that you really shouldn't be penalized for that if you were in before. Now, if they're 12th and, the group of 5 has to get 1, then they were already out. But I don't think you should drop for losing a championship game. And I don't think Bama will. Like, I guess we'll find out in an hour here, but I think Bama should still be ahead of Notre Dame. I think their wins are better. I think, they've got 1 good loss, 1 bad loss. Notre Dame does have 2 good losses, but to me, no loss is good. So I hate that thinking that we have now. Bama's got better wins, and better wins means more to me than better losses, so like, to me, the committee should have Bama ahead of Notre Dame. And then this really shouldn't be a question unless Bama loses again, which at that point, I think they're completely out. Like, I think there's too big of a logjam. But yeah, I think Bama should still absolutely be in. The win against Georgia means too much, especially because that was on the road. And I think the committee also minimizes early losses. They also minimize top 10 losses. So Bama's got both those. I think they're fine right now.
Yeah, and I don't know if I agree with if you lose by 30. I still think you're in. I think anybody in the SEC championship game or the Big Ten championship game should be in. I even think sometimes the ACC, they should be in, depending on who's in there. I get it. But because I think those championship games might be getting less and less more important as we expand the playoff, right? So let's say, I don't want to jinx anybody on Bama. Let's say the Texas A&M quarterback gets hurt this week, right? And he's out for this week and next week, but for the championship game, he's iffy, right? Has a sprained hand or a thumb or whatever, right? Should we force him to play in the championship game, or do we give him 1 more week of rest so that he's good for the playoffs? You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to play him in a championship game if they need him for the playoffs. It actually matters. So I don't know. I think it's going to get tricky with these championship games. And, especially if they do start setting a precedent where if you lose, you're out.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a tough one.
Well, let that happen one time and see how conferences don't change the way they do them. Like, conferences will start crowning a regular season champion, and then they'll play. Yeah, there's already been models proposed where 1 and 2 play each other, and then 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 play each other for the other spots and stuff. Let it happen. I mean, I know BYU is maybe different than the way we would view Alabama getting left out because of where they might be ranked, but like, let one of these conferences have a somebody be. I mean, Rhett Lashley said it last year. Why are we even going to play the game if they're going to
Yeah.
leave us out? And I know that was the SMU versus Bama argument, and that whether you're right or wrong, like I get what he's saying. Like, why are we going to play an extra game if it's going to cost us? So yeah, let one of these conferences get left out because they go play in a championship game, and the conference will immediately change the way they do things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. All right. TJ, I'll let you start this one off here. Seminoles, they beat Vatek. What did you think of the game on Saturday night?
Yeah, if we go super micro and aren't like digging into like the big picture, I mean, it was a win that Florida State should. I mean, they handled business the way they were supposed to. As good or bad as Florida State has been, as up as and down as they've been, they were a 14.5-point favorite for a reason. Virginia Tech got dominated by Old Dominion this year. They have 3 wins. Like that, it's a terrible team without a coach. And like they've done, 7 weeks in a row now, they started a little slow, but the game never felt in doubt. The defense played well. It took a late touchdown for Tech to even get, the score a little bit closer. And so they still won by 17 or 20. I mean, they dominated from start to finish. Deuce Robinson is an absolute freak and up for the Blendikoff Award. I don't know if he'll win it just because there's a lot of great wide receivers out there, and I'm sure it just goes to Smith. But I mean, he's so good. Tommy looks like he has a little bit more spring in his step. He looks a little more healthy than he's been. If you are a fan that wants to win games these last 2 weeks, which I know that people are split on their desires for the program, but him being healthy is probably a good thing for that. I really like Usman Kroma. I think he's been their best running back in a talented group of running backs. So, yeah, I mean, Virginia Tech's not good. I'm not like beating my chest excited about the win, but they played the way you're supposed to play against a bad team, which at times this year they haven't done that. They've played down to competition. They've done things that are frustrating, but they went out and dominated the way they needed to.
Yeah, so I don't need to say anything. I mean, that's all my notes. But
Sorry.
yeah, Tommy. No. Tommy definitely had an extra gear, right? He looks like whatever was hindering him throughout the year, he ran like he did against Bama, right? That's good. Deuce is a dude, 100%. He's almost at 1,000 yards, Blitnikoff Award, but that's definitely an NFL player. I just don't know if there's anything NIL wise that can make him come back. What is his worth in the NIL? I don't know. I'm sure there's bigger decisions. Who's going to be coaching? Who's going to be the OC? Will they throw the ball like he does? But yeah, like you said, the defense created turnovers. They did what they were supposed to do. The running back thing was a little weird to me because I'll be honest, like the running back rotation, we had like 7 different backs getting snaps in the backfield. And that's either like genius on Gus or like chaos. Like where it's like sometimes if you have multiple, you don't have any. So like everybody gets a turn, he's just pointing like who wants to go in? It's just like at some point you got to kind of have one person step up and become the guy. But I mean, yeah, we won. We protected the ball and all that. But I don't know. I think we're just going to have to find our guy down the stretch, or at least 2.
Yeah, I don't love the way that we rotate as much. It is frustrating, and I wonder if it led to some of the problems. They had fumbling the ball kind of in the middle of the season at massive moments. I think you basically lost the pit game because you couldn't hold on to it, and defense didn't help you much out either. Because this season is fairly lost in my mind, and I don't know where guys go or who comes back or, from a staff perspective or a roster perspective. If you have Chroma back like next year, I like featuring him a little bit, but I also like not putting extra tread on his tires because I think he has the chance to be incredibly elite as a college running back. And then maybe even at the next level too. Like that's hard to project, when he's played 10 games. But I want to win games, certainly the last one of the year, but I also don't like, I'm okay with a little bit of a rotation, but I'd like to see like what he can do against a better Florida defense, what he can do on the road in Raleigh. Cause I think he's a building block that, if Deuce just goes to the NFL, like you're going to need to invest him in IL somewhere. So Chroma might be one of your better players next year.
Yeah. You're definitely gonna have to open the checkbook for him, I assume. And is it not weird that we haven't heard if Tommy's coming back yet? I mean, he walks on senior night, but they said, oh, we'll still apply and maybe, get that 5th year. But I don't know, man. He looks really quick and he makes plays happen, but he is 1 to 2 seconds late on every throw.
Yeah.
You might not be able to see it on TV, but in the stands, you'll see Deuce wide open and it's like throw the ball and then he finally throws it. He's just so late on reads. And I don't know if that's because he can't see or what because of his size, but he's just so late and he cannot read the secondary. It's frustrating. And sometimes I wonder if like, would I rather have a passer or somebody that can use their legs like him and then somewhat pass, you know? I don't know. It's just I go back and forth, but Gus knows a hell of a lot more than I do. So
Yeah, I mean, are your overall thought? What are your overall thoughts on Gus?
I like him. I really do. I like his offense. I like to control the ball. I like to control the clock. You know, I just would rather have a better passer at quarterback. But to find somebody that can run like Tommy and pass like Ty Simpson or somebody, you're not going to find that. I mean, it's very rare. And those guys are elite guys. So I do like Gus. I'm not a big fan of the other side of the ball, but you know, maybe it just takes a year or so to implement a 3-3-5. But I don't know. I haven't been impressed on that side of the ball.
Yeah, it would surprise me if Tony White comes back next year. Like, not dropping a ton of insider heat here, but I would be surprised based on just a few things that I've heard if he was back. I don't think that's been the best fit on the field or in the Moore Center. The only thing, okay, so my only problem with Gus is that, like, man, when it works, it works, and it worked against Bama, right? What I have struggled with some is it feels so gimmicky at times that I feel like we're not very good in the red zone and certainly not good in goal to go situations because you just don't have as much space to be gimmicky. Like I thought they did a good job of spreading Bama out and keeping them kind of on their heels. And they've done that against the teams that are somewhat poor. But then even in other games, they've gotten down to the red zone and then at times just stalled horrifically because there's just not enough room to be tricky. And that has been a frustration. That happened against Virginia. That happened a couple of times against like it's just that feels happened against Clemson. I don't know if that can be fixed, and so that's kind of my only qualm that I've had with Gus's offense.
Yeah, and again, I don't like Randy Pittman lined up at quarterback inside the 3-yard line, like that kind of gimmick. But at the same time, it's like, you know, every offense kind of struggles somewhere. Like the old air raids, right? They're great between the 20s, but when you get inside the 20s, and you know, they kind of struggle as well. And Bama may, and you know, back in the day when they would run the ball, they would struggle in 3rd and long. So I get it. I mean, there's nothing perfect out there. I do think that whatever we are now, top 5 offense, I think that's a lot of window dressing. Maybe I don't think we're the top 5 offense in the nation, but on paper we may be, you know, especially playing 2 high school teams or whatever. But
Yeah, I was going to say they put up like 1,500 yards against Kent State.
yeah, no, I get it. Like I would take Ohio State's offense over ours.
Hey, can I throw one name at you and you guys tell me what you think? And we've talked about Gus before, being a former Auburn guy and kind of familiar with him. I think Lenore Sellers at South Carolina could potentially be on the market this year. I think he fits that Gus Malzahn system perfectly and would immediately transform what you guys do offensively. And I mean, if it's already a top 5 offense with Castellanos, I think bringing in a guy like Sellers who can, I mean, he can throw the ball a little bit too. He's not just an athlete. But have you guys thought about that? Have you heard of, you know, potential there? Do you think you would invest in a quarterback like Sellers? I know you've gone to the transfer portal a few times for quarterbacks, so it kind of fits Norvell's mold. What do you guys think?
I don't know if we will invest at the level that he will want NIL wise. I mean, whether I think we should or not, I mean, yeah, he's probably a better fit because he can pass a little bit better. I don't think he's as fast as Tommy, but he's probably a little more durable. Although I guess he got hurt this year too, so maybe when you just play that style, you just count on missing a game or two. But I guess Tommy's been out there, you know, every game. But yeah, I mean, I think he would be an upgrade over Castellanos. I don't know if Florida State, and again, I think he'll apply for the waiver. Seem to be confident that he'll get it. But I don't know if we'll invest at the level that he wants to probably compete at. I also don't know, like thinking about like his wants, you know, I mean, there's been smoke around him going to Miami or something like that.
Right.
And playing for a team that's going to compete for the playoff. I mean, I don't think anybody would look at Florida State as a playoff competitor next year. I mean, I know a lot can happen in a season, good and bad, but I think that would, I don't even know if Florida State would they would probably entertain it. I don't know. They in recruiting, they feel like they're always the bridesmaid, not the bride. So I would have not a lot of confidence that they get it done.
I mean, you guys were in the Cam Ward sweepstakes, and just
That was a
missed
good
out on him,
decision.
We were the bridesmaid there too.
Yeah, we made a great decision there.
Yeah. I mean, Miami wasn't going to be beat financially there. And if Miami's being tossed around as a place for sellers, like we will not beat them financially, both on like ability and just principle.
I don't know if he fits there though. I don't know if he has a good enough arm to be there. They throw the ball.
Yeah, in Dawson's offense.
Yeah, I mean, he throws
different.
the ball, and now he may not be there next year. Maybe that guy should be up for a head coaching job somewhere.
Yeah,
I mean, he's legit. So him and Grubb. So
I'm talking about Grubb. He's not going anywhere. All right, so let's talk about your coach, your embattled Coach Norvell. Do you think, does he have to win out to keep his job? Is he safe? I mean, Todd, we talked about it. Like, can Florida State really afford to jump in this round of the coaching carousel? Like, TJ, you've probably talked about it a bunch, I would assume, on your different shows. But what are you guys feeling as Florida State fans other than hurt from Norvell?
So you're telling me it matters.
Little cup here so that I can drink my sorrows. I got this in the mail today, and I literally sent it to my wife, and I was like, should I tweet at him and ask him if this is to drown my sorrows with a bottle of bourbon? And she's like, please don't do it. But anyway.
So you're telling me it matters if we beat a 5-5 NC State team and then a 3-8 Florida team that has no coach? You beat them, you got to keep Norvell. Like
it's better than losing to them.
I don't know. It's the weirdest thing because honestly, if he was in at Stanford, which he was, right? Like we talked about before, if Sawchuk was in and we win that game and Deuce catches the ball, which he didn't catch it at UVA and we win that game. Like it's a totally different story. Like it really is. But at the end of the day, if we do beat Florida, right, and we said, hey, you're going to lose to Clemson and Miami, but you could beat Alabama and Florida, right? I would have been like, I'll take that, but not lose to Stanford, Pitt, So I think we've seen everything we need to see. I don't think it matters. But my problem is what the hell is the administration doing? Enough, like I talked about last week. Like you're burning, you're pissing off the fan base, and recruits are dropping left and right. 5 stars and whatever else. I think we just lost somebody. TJ, maybe you know more about that than I do, but I thought we just lost somebody. And it's like we have no direction, right? Because they don't know if he's going to be there or not. Because if he does leave, does Gus go, and who does the new OC? And we're running into a window where like the portal's about to open up, and we got to have some decisions made. Like if we lose NC State, it's over. But even if we beat NC State, I think it should be over. Just announce it. Because here's what's going to happen. We'll beat NC State, right? We'll lose to Florida. They'll fire Mike. And then Florida will be like, we got your coach fired. We beat you guys. And, it's like, why give them why give them that benefit or that cred? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if they go 7-5, he's coming back. And that I don't like that. But I think I think by sending out the vote of confidence and saying that you were going to evaluate later, you were basically saying, dude, get us to enough wins to keep you. Like, I don't think they want to make a move. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's the right call, but that's just the vibe that I'm getting. 6-6 would be a question. I don't think 6-6 is a sure thing. I think if you were to get embarrassed in either one of these games, it might be a little more sure. But man, if you lose to NC State by 20 on Friday and then you go beat Florida by 20, which I don't really see either one of those things happening. But if football's weird, then what do you do, right? Is a win against, like Todd said, you beat Wake Forest, congratulations. You beat Virginia Tech, who doesn't have a coach and who is terrible. And then if you beat NC State, who Miami just scored 1 billion points on last week, and you beat Florida, NC State's going to fire their coach. Like I expect Dave Doran to get fired if they lose to us. Yeah, I mean, you beat 3 teams down the stretch without a coach, and then you beat Wake Forest. I don't think that changes like who you are as a coach or as a program, because you got to run into a bunch of bad teams at the end of the year, teams that had quit, teams that didn't have coaches, teams that didn't care. Nobody at Florida even cares about their last 2 games. They're all excited about who their next coach might be. And so those are not that's not like save your job type of wins. Now, Florida was 9-2 going to that game, trying to get to a college football playoff. Yeah, that'd be different. If NC State was a team that was competing for the ACC championship, yeah, those would be different wins. Like kind of like exactly what Florida did last year. They knocked LSU and Ole Miss out of having a chance for the playoff. Well, those are good wins, man. So there was some hope, there was some optimism. I think even bigger picture than that, if Tommy doesn't get a waiver, you got to go find another quarterback. You're going to have 5 new starting off, like all 5 offensive linemen are done, like out of eligibility. You're going to have 5 new offensive linemen next year. And I think Herb Hand's done a great job with this unit. They're probably going to have to go back to the portal. His recruiting class isn't good enough, they've never been good enough. They lost Jay Timmons, who is a legacy recruit to Ohio State. And I get it. Kids go to Ohio State because they're elite, but the recruiting class isn't good enough. There's no long-term plan. It's go back to the portal and hope it works again. And,
right. Yeah.
Try and get to 8 wins. So I'm completely out. And I think most of the fan base is completely out, but if you're all the way out, you're put in a weird spot of, all right, do I want to win these last 2 games or do I want to, reset the thing and hope NC State and Florida do the Lord's work here?
Yeah. And I think that, like you said, I think most of the majority of people want him gone, but I honestly do think he will be back or they would have made a move already. Like what more do they need to see? I think they have his back. They're hoping he beats NC State. They hope he beats Florida so that they don't look so bad when they bring him back. But I don't think they have a plan. I don't think they want to pay him. I don't think they have a backup, out there. And I think that, they're going to give Gus and, maybe Tony White another year. But I just think that, they could always say, hey, we were a couple plays here, a couple plays there from, a lot more wins. But I don't know. I don't think they're going to make a move, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, somebody who did make a move is Virginia Tech this week. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I'm curious, the ACC guys, I think it's a hell of a hire, to be perfectly honest. He's won everywhere he's been. I know the knock is that he can't beat the best team in the country in Ohio State and struggled against Michigan. But you tell me who's beating Ohio State right now. And it sounds like Virginia Tech's making an investment in their program. I mean, in 3 years, can Virginia Tech be the best team in the ACC with James Franklin?
It wouldn't take much. I mean, the ACC. So, yeah, he could be. Absolutely. I mean, so could, Mike Norvell if he had I don't know. I just think that, yes, it's a good hire. He was on my list to get. I mean, I would have loved to have him at FSU. But again, I don't know what's happening behind the scenes, whether we dragged our feet or we're going to stick with Mike and, we didn't even want him, but I know they hired a good coach. So I know we didn't.
I want you guys to rate this as like either a hot take or realistic, but I said this today, and so I'm going to steal from myself. I think relative to the program, it's the first hire of the cycle. I think it's the best hire that anybody's going to make.
It's elite. I think it's elite.
It's elite. Lane going to LSU or UF is a good, objectively good hire. But those are programs like Lane is not to me a sure thing. Not that any coach is a sure thing, but relative to the program, like Virginia Tech is at best tier 2 ACC team. Like at best, like you put Florida State, Miami, and Clemson in tier 1. Tier 2 is probably Virginia Tech, but you're probably having an argument.
Maybe.
I don't know that Virginia Tech, you think about, and the way I thought about it today was, okay, if there was a conference realignment draft right now, how far down would Virginia Tech be taken? Well, they'd be taken after UNC. I think they'd be taken after Georgia Tech. I think they'd be taken after Virginia as the flag, even though Virginia Tech is a better program than Virginia because of the flagship status of that. Yeah. I think they'd be in the NC State SMU range. That might be tier 3. So they're like a tier 2, tier 3 team. And so relative to how good their program is, unless somebody pulls Marcus Freeman away from Notre Dame, I think that's the hire of the cycle.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I was shocked. I think it kind of came out Saturday, right? During game day, they said that Franklin was in talks with Virginia Tech, and I'm not surprised he's having talks. He's having talks with everybody, right? But the fact that Virginia Tech was able to close that deal, I think speaks volumes for where they're going with their program and how serious they're going to take it moving forward. Because I guarantee you Franklin doesn't take that job without certain guarantees. He's getting what he wants. You don't go from Penn State and step down to Virginia Tech without without knowing exactly what you're getting with NIL, maybe new facilities. I don't know what's all involved. I heard a private jet. He's got his private jet for Virginia Tech. That was part of the deal. So I think James Franklin was the best name to me on the market, and Virginia Tech being, I don't know, maybe the 5th or 6th best job out there to land him. I think, good for them. Bad for the ACC, but good for Virginia Tech.
Well, he can definitely evaluate. So if they give him NIL money, he knows how to find players. Like if you look at the Penn State people that he's coached in the NFL, he's got dudes.
He's already got the Penn State guys are already setting up official visits at Virginia Tech. Like Penn State's class is getting ready to fall completely.
And he's from
apart.
that area. Like
Yeah,
that's
he's from the
been
DMV.
Virginia Tech's problem. The DMV. I mean, yeah, it's not South Florida, it's not South Georgia, it's not Texas. I get it. The DMV is notoriously
Loaded.
elite for
Yes.
talent. And what's right next to it? The Tri-County, like right there is North Carolina, and you're still kind of in that Midwest area too. Like Florida State. And I agree with Todd. Like he was on my list for like I wanted him. Like I did videos on like let's hire James Franklin, and so we didn't do it, but people would say, oh, well, he recruits about as well as Mike does at Florida State. Yeah, to Happy Valley, Pennsylvania, bro. Like you put him in a garden gold shirt and see what he recruits like. So yeah, I mean, yeah, they could absolutely in 3 years be talked about with where Florida State, Clemson, and Miami should be. Who knows where any of those programs will be in 3 years, but yeah, they should absolutely be up there. Like to me, it's the antithesis of a Bill Belichick hire.
Yeah.
So we missed.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying, TJ? We missed, right?
I don't think we took okay. So again, not trying to, I know everything or anything like that, but like I was told that we didn't really go after it. Like I think my take is, and I don't know what the turnoff was from Franklin. I don't know if it's money. I don't know what it is, but I don't think we swung. I think the Thamel report was that because like Thamel hasn't put a report out like that for Lane, like that they're negotiating. I think the Thamel report was leaked to put everybody else on notice to say, hey man, I'm going to sign this if somebody else better doesn't offer me. Because I do think he would have taken the FSU job. I think he would have taken LSU, Florida, maybe Auburn. I don't know if any of the SEC schools really wanted him or not, but I think that was like a signal of hey, hire me or I'm going to go here. A few days pass, nobody reaches out, nobody makes any kind of offers. He says, all right, then I'll settle with Virginia Tech. So, yeah, I don't know if we missed because we didn't go after it, but it's a miss in my heart because they should have.
Yeah, for sure. That's the way I feel as well. All right. Top 5 this week. We've done movies, right? This week we're doing top 5 favorite players of all time at your school, right? They don't have to be players in all college. It's for your school, right?
Yes.
Top 5 Alabama players,
Yep.
FSU. Okay. All right. Baker?
I get to lead it off.
How about the guess? Guess first. TJ.
TJ.
I'll let you start us off.
Yeah, I mean, it's Jameis. I'll go in order. He's number one. I feel like he made something that I love so much great again. And so he was so much fun to watch. We never went into a game thinking he wasn't going to find a way to win. Never lost to a rival, never lost in Doak. His freshman year was still the most electric thing that I think we've really seen in Tallahassee. And then he gets drafted. I mean, it didn't work out here, but then he gets drafted to your local team here in Tampa. And yeah, like that was a really fun run. And I know that Florida State's had a lot of greats and probably even players that may or may not have been better, although he did win a Heisman. But yeah, that was when I certainly understood football more than when I was watching as an 8-year-old when Winky was playing and stuff. But yeah, Jameis is my easy number one. He's in my bio on social media before my wife and kids, so I feel like I couldn't pick anybody but him.
Jameis is the second most famous person from Hueytown, Alabama. You guys know who number 1 is?
Yeah, Bo Jackson.
Bo, yeah.
No, this guy.
You? Is that where you're from?
I might have to put you.
I was born in Hueytown. We didn't spend much time there.
Really? Okay.
But yeah. Jameis is a good one. He broke my heart when he chose you guys over Bama. We thought we had him.
Yep, I remember that.
That was one of the few misses. Man, I'm trying to think. What was the kid that ended up going to Notre Dame that was also right there with Jameis that year? Do you guys? I can't remember his name. ended up at like Cincinnati. Anyways, we recruited that kid harder than Jameis, and it certainly backfired on us. So yeah, kudos to you for having Jameis Winston.
Before we go on, the way that he is viewed now as like everyone's favorite NFL player who doesn't even, I guess he played Sunday, but like who doesn't even play compared to the way he was viewed like 10 years ago. Like his character arc has been pretty hilarious to watch.
Yeah,
Well, it's a 360.
It's kind of like a Baker Mayfield deal, right?
Yeah.
Where like all of a sudden, I mean, Jameis from making those videos of eating those W's, kind of turn some people off, but yeah, I'm good for him. Glad for him. So no, that's a great pick. I think if I were a Noel fan, that's where I would have probably settled.
Who else you got, TJ? Just one?
Am I doing all five? I didn't know if we were going around that horn. Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, you want to do that? We could do that.
Either way is fine.
All right, who do you got for 5, Baker?
All right, I'll go backwards.
Yeah, he went right for the...
All right, number 5, I went Mark Ingram. I feel like the first Heisman Trophy winner in Alabama history, probably deserved a spot in the top 5. I'll be honest, he wasn't necessarily my favorite player when he was there. Just our offense was so stinking boring. But the guy won a Heisman, won a national championship, played on the first Saban team that won a national championship at Alabama. So I've got Mark Ingram, number 5.
Okay. I got honorable mention.
Honorable mention?
Yeah. Man, that's cheating.
What are we doing here? What are we doing?
I have Jameis at
tell us we could have honorable mention.
You have Jameis Winston at honorable mention?
Jameis Winston, honorable mention. Yes. Again, these aren't the best players ever. These are my favorite.
TJ's going to jump off the podcast.
Yeah.
These are my favorite players.
Fun.
And it was almost Janikowski at honorable mention as my favorite player. Okay. So listen.
I played soccer against Janikowski in high school.
Yeah. I played basketball with him all the time. He's speaking Russian.
I did keg stands with him.
Yeah,
there you go.
No, I'm just playing. That's a joke. But
it's like New Orleans before the Sugar Bowl. So number 5, I have, which most people will wonder why, but Raynard Wilson. I met him many times at school. We would always pass each other in the halls, and Bullware was on one side, he was on the other, defensive ends, and they were just freaking nasty. They were the best dual ends I think ever in any college. And I don't know about Hugh Green and all those guys at Pitt, but I know that, like, to me, Bullware and Raynard Wilson were the two best. I was always talking to Raynard in the hallways and in class and all that stuff. So I'm putting him at number 5. He's a good guy. He was incredible.
The fact that you were in school with him, I think makes a huge difference, right?
Yeah.
Like that was your time. That was your time at Florida State.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah. Good one. All right, TJ.
I screwed it up by going the wrong way. Should I just go number 2 now?
Yeah, go number 2.
It's Peter Warrick. Like, I was younger, obviously, when he was playing, but I remember even as a kid just being like, there is no way he's doing the things he's doing. To me, he's still the most... I like when Chad Johnson on social media, Ocho Cinco, will, like, anytime somebody asks him, like, who's the best college football player of all time, he's still like, yeah, Peter Warrick is the most electric player I've ever seen, and it's not close. And I'm not sitting here saying that Peter Warrick is the best player, but like I probably put him up there as the most electric. I know Florida fans would cry about that because
Percy Harvin.
Percy. But the things Peter was able to do with a football in his hands were just asinine. And so he was so special. And like now you like see him and he's just like a normal guy up there at the games with the greatest beard, just like the rest of it, and he's just so down to earth and really cool. But yeah, he had that swagger too. Like P-Dub was so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember him not even being a Florida State fan. He was special. Not bad. All right. Number 4 for me, I went Derrick Henry, another running back, Heisman Trophy winner at Alabama. I mean, that dude, you talk about just a beast, and he's still doing it in the NFL, right? Like long past when NFL running backs primes, have gone. He should be retired. He's still going, but I pulled up just to see. I mean, he broke Herschel Walker's rushing record, like in the SEC. I mean, Herschel Walker is one of the best ever to do it,
and his high school record. Have you seen his high school?
His high school days.
It's unbelievable.
He did. Yeah, it was like 600 yards a game,
it's crazy.
But 2,200 yards in 2015, 28 rushing touchdowns. And the guy is in my mind probably we could probably argue about it, but maybe a top 5 running back of all time. Like, does he fit, in that category with the Emmitt Smiths and Eric Dickersons and Walter Payton's maybe? But yeah, he's I'll give you a little spoiler. He's not even my top running back in my top 5. But yeah, I had to go Derrick Henry. That dude's a freaking stud.
Yeah, and he's actually a better person. My brother, basically, that I grew up with, my buddy, he coached him at Tennessee forever, running backs, Tony, and he was just like, dude, he's like the most down to earth, genuine, nice kid that you've ever met. Like, he's just a good kid. You know what I mean? And somebody that statue, you see him walk through the door and you're just like, I can't believe that kid's a running back.
Yeah.
He's just unbelievably, his
And you
size
see
is
his summer
ridiculous.
workouts, his off-season workouts. The guy, I mean, he does everything he needs to do to keep himself healthy and going. So yeah, I love me some Derrick Henry.
Yeah, for sure. All right, number 4 is on me, right? Charlie Ward. Now, most people may have him 1, 2, Dion, him, whatever, but my list is a little different. But he's just a great person, great quarterback, great dude. He was just unbelievable. He changed the game, I think, with the, fast break offense and running quarterbacks and things like that. But yeah, you don't really need to say anything. It's Charlie Ward. Everybody knows.
He won the Heisman, right? So is he the only Heisman winner to ever play professional basketball?
Probably.
Right?
Yeah, I would think so.
I mean, think about what a stud you have to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. He's just an athlete. I remember I was playing golf one time up in Killearn in Tallahassee when I was a student there. And I was playing with this older guy. And he's like, oh, yeah, you going to the game? I was like, yeah, I'm going to the game. And he's like, oh, yeah, my son plays on the team. I was like, oh, really? And, yeah, Charlie Ward. It's like, I'm playing with his dad, playing golf with his dad. I'm thinking, this is hole 17. Why didn't you tell me this like hole 1?
Yeah.
I've been just like drilling you the whole thing, talking about Charlie. But yeah, good dude, good family. So
Nice. All right, TJ.
All right, number 3. Baker said he had one more running back coming up, and I was wondering if it'd be Milrow or not. But before I get in trouble, I'll go Chris Winkie here. So I would put Charlie Ward higher, I'm sure, if I would have seen him. But just being a little younger, it's hard for me to count guys that I just watched video of. I'd probably have Dion higher too if I would have seen it instead of grainy YouTube video footage. But Winkie was, I know he's a million years old, but he was so much fun to watch. And I still think about like some of the just ridiculous stuff that he was able to do out and throwing to Snoop, and P-Dub was, I won't make a second Alabama joke about QB, but he was a lot of fun. And that's the first national championship I remember. And so again, they have 3 Heisman winners and 3 national championships from him. And so that guy is way up on my list. It's been kind of cool to follow his path afterwards of coaching now and being involved. He's at Georgia Tech as the OC. So I was a huge Winkie fan. He was the first quarterback I really remember. He was there in 98, 97, somewhere around there. So I don't remember much from before then. So Winkie's way up there for me.
Nice.
Yeah. The hidden ball on the goal line to Snoop, it was just like one of the greatest plays of all time, So yeah, Winkie was the man for sure. And he could have been on my list as well.
Yeah.
All right. Is that back to me? All right. Number 3, Mr. Foley, Alabama, Julio Jones.
Yeah.
I think Julio Jones was the spark plug that started the Nick Saban dynasty at Alabama. He was the first big 5-star recruit that stayed in state, committed to Nick Saban. And then obviously had a phenomenal career. I will never forget, we ran that little wide receiver screen to him against LSU, and he busted for 45, 50 yards, whatever it was, to win the game. Guy was, even in Alabama, was the ultimate professional, led by example, never in trouble. And I attribute a lot of Alabama's success in the Nick Saban days to Julio Jones staying in state and committing to Alabama. So that's my number 3.
Yeah, he was a grown man in high school too, because I saw him in the Under Armour All-American game or whatever it was at the time. I think it was one of the first years it started, and I was just like, that kid's like unbelievable. He looks like an NFL player out there. Like it's unbelievable. It's unfair. So yeah,
Yeah,
he's a good
he's the
dude.
Derrick Henry of receivers.
Yeah. All right, number 3. My number 3 is work done.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like really one of the first like star players that, you know, made me want to come to Florida State. Like, you know what I mean? Like watching him and everything else. He was um just unbelievable and better kid. I mean, obviously, you know, all the stuff he's doing, you know, off the field for
Building the
families and
houses.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah, he's just a good dude. He's, you know, he's a winner. I mean, there's nobody. Well, I don't say talent-wise, there's better running backs than him, but as a person, I mean, he's up there with Brooks and all those, you know.
And Tampa Bay Buck. Let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. So, work done, number 3.
Like it.
4, I've got Dalvin. I'll go the other side of that. I, you know, again, saw Dunn a ton with the Bucks, but Dalvin truly, you know, watching him and then like looking back at how bad those offensive lines were, like the year that Jameis, we won, every offensive lineman went to the NFL the next year and played. After that, I think one guy has been drafted since that time. It's been so bad. So looking back at like what he was running through, like the lanes he would create were, it felt like every time he got the ball, it was a chance for a house call. And I mean, you talk about a guy who would step up at the biggest moments too. I think he scored something like 10 touchdowns against Miami and Florida over his 3 years. Like he just dominated them and always showed up big against Miami. Had really good games against Clemson too. He opened up the 2015 game against Clemson with like a 75-yard touchdown run or something on the first play. Like just always there in the big moment. I think he had 2 or 3 touchdowns when they played Clemson the next year in 2016. He was huge in the Orange Bowl win back when bowls mattered in 2016 against Michigan. Dalvin Cook was just insane to watch and, you know, then did it for several years in the NFL too.
So my number 2 on the Alabama, it's not all-time list, but my lifetime list, I went Shaun Alexander. That's my running back ahead of Derrick Henry. This probably the first offensive player. Well, let me back up. So, all right. So I was a senior in high school in 1999, right? Alabama is going to Gainesville, and playing that game. I drive up in my dad's Z28 Camaro, you know, top down, like, first big college football game I'm going to. And all Shaun Alexander does is rush for 4 touchdowns and score the winning touchdown in overtime. And I ended up on the field with an Alabama flag, waving the flag at the Swamp. And actually, my high school basketball coach at the time was there. He saw it and called me out on it in practice the next day that, you know, why was I on the field at the Swamp waving an Alabama flag? But this dude, I think, honestly, could have been the first Heisman Trophy winner at Alabama. He got hurt in 99 and missed like 4 games, but was on pace to just do silly things. And then obviously had a great NFL career. But Shaun Alexander he's one of my all-time favorites. You know, back when they wore those huge shoulder pads that stuck out like 4 feet, you know, on the neck rolls and all that. So yeah, that guy, will probably he'll always be in the top 3 for me, no matter what happens, I think, with Alabama. So great high school memories with Shaun Alexander. Yes, that's my number 2.
Yeah, he was incredible, and especially in the pros too. I mean, he was a great, like, that's when kind of fantasy started taking off and everybody wanted Shaun Alexander in fantasy. But like he didn't look the part, which was weird, always weird to me. Like he looked a little pudgy, out of shape and all that, but he was fast, strong, powerful, like cut. He did it all.
And he was the guy, every time he got tackled, he'd lay on the ground for like 10 seconds. And
Like he was hurt.
wait for everybody to get up, and then he'd slowly get up and meander back to the pocket or back to the huddle. And Shaun Alexander's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, so my number 2, I'm going to go Dalvin. So again, what TJ said. I mean, I don't think there's ever been. I don't know about college, but he's one of the few that was built like the perfect running back. had the perfect stiff arm. It was like the most quiet stiff arm you'd ever seen. It's not a Derrick Henry stiff arm, but it was just enough to get people off of him. He
Yeah.
cut. He was powerful. He was fast as hell. He jump cut. He was the man. I mean, he would hit the corner and you think he's run out of bounds. Next thing you know, he's 40 yards down the sideline because he's so fast, and he was one of my favorites, even more than Warwick Dunn. But yeah, he was the man.
Is that the first one you guys have paired up on? Is Dalvin?
First one
Maybe.
that's on both the lists, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Did you have Charlie
nice.
on yours?
I didn't because I didn't see him.
Oh yeah, no Warwick, no doubt. Yep.
Yes, Todd, we're aging ourselves, man.
I know. Well, when you said I was graduated high school in 99, I was like, I graduated college in 99 and
There
I
you
took
go.
like 7 years to do it. So
Yeah. And TJ was like 3 years old in 99.
You were there
so.
during a good time then, if that's the case. So
yeah,
I
I was
wouldn't have left
there
either.
during. It was
I'll
perfect.
do one more year.
Yeah, I was like, I think we're gonna win it. Maybe I'll
It's
take
like the
free
COVID
credit.
kids now. Yeah, it's a medical red shirt and a regular red shirt and a COVID red shirt. Yeah. A Pavia year, you were just ahead of the trend. All right, my last one. All right, I'm gonna since Todd stole an honorable mention, I'll do an honorable mention too, since it's my last one. But honorable mention for Jalen Ramsey. I just didn't do any defensive players, but very rarely does a defensive guy take over a game, and he literally could do everything. Whether it was blitzing off the edge, kind of in that star role the guys play now, great ball skills. I mean, that Miami game in 2014, he absolutely won it. I don't say by himself because Dalvin had 1 billion yards and 2 touchdowns too, but he was so instrumental in that, and he was so elite. And still, he might still be the highest paid. If it's not, it's him. It's Zerwin, highest paid defensive back in the league right now. Or for quite a while, he was insane to watch defensively, and I felt like I shouldn't do a top 5 list without him, so I did a top 6. And number 5, Anquan Bolden. He just better. Kind of like Dunn, kind of like some of these people we talked about, like better person off the field, but man, he was elite. And then really elite, like for a long time in the NFL too. Just the best. Rashad Green is like way up there too for me, but maybe the best hands to ever play at FSU. Like, not as electric as P-Dub and not as fast as some other guys, but just, it was a catch every time. And Anquan, again, for the things off the field, the things that he did on the field for the NFL career, I mean, he's way, way up there for me.
Played quarterback at FSU too.
Yeah.
Love it.
I was going to put Randy Moss in my top 5, but
yeah,
I just couldn't quite do it. I think you have to play one play.
I was going to put Travis Hunter in mine, but.
Can you think about that? One little bit of weed. I mean, nowadays that's nothing. Poor Bobby.
Bobby should just rolled up and called it a day.
It was
you'd
like
be
him,
running
Peter Warwick.
stairs for that right now.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen
playing in the next game?
Yeah. Have you ever seen like Danny Cannell tweet? Like Danny Cannell one time tweeted like my senior year in high school, there were 2 freshmen that redshirted. Their names were Peter Warwick and Randy Moss. Like, thanks a lot, Coach Bowden.
It's crazy
because those guys would never redshirt now.
Yeah.
It's like I could have been so much better if I was thrown to those guys.
Wow. It's crazy. All right. So back to me?
Think so, yeah.
All right. My number 1 on my Alabama top 5 is Derek Thomas. So if you guys, I assume you remember him probably from his NFL days, but Derek Thomas is probably the best defensive player to ever come out of Alabama. It's really when I was first introduced to Alabama football. It's the first guy I really remember and idolizing, with Alabama. He had I think it was 52 sacks in his time there. It's my one defensive guy I went with, and I think he's probably the best player to ever play at Alabama, if we're being perfectly honest. He's got an iconic, sack against Notre Dame, where today he'd have been kicked out of the game because it was probably targeting, which is decleated. Man, I can't remember who the quarterback was at the time, but just unbelievable talent. Died way too soon, died at 33 in a car accident on the way to a Kansas City Chiefs game. But yeah, just an absolute legend at Alabama. Like I said, the first guy I remember really following and falling in love with as an Alabama fan. So I went Derek Thomas, number 1.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, I know we're up against it because I know TJ's got a show to do on his own, but my number 1, easy, Chris Ricks. I mean, the guy was just unbelievable. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, I'll cancel the other show and we'll argue for half an hour.
I was just rolling through my head like, wait a minute, what?
Peter Warwick. I mean, he's
Yeah.
number one to me. I mean, TJ said, I mean, listen, he was the most electric ever with the ball in his hands. And I know that, like you said, Percy Harvin or maybe Reggie Bush, those two were electric as well. But I still will go with Peter Warwick over both of those guys. He was just, if he wouldn't have got caught stealing at Dillard's or wherever, he probably would have won a Heisman. But yeah, I'm going Peter Warwick, number one.
Love it.
So,
love it.
Well, we did it.
Yeah. I mean,
had our first guest.
It's pretty crazy when you think about like how many good players have come through Florida State and Alabama. Like, I don't know if you guys struggled with your top 5, but it took me a while to kind of narrow mine down.
I would take our top 5 over Bama's. I actually
there's
honestly
not a chance in the world. But
your quarterback be?
I almost put Tua. I almost went Tua in my top 5. College quarterback. Now I'm not going to talk about the Dolphins and all that, but the dude, we celebrate February 20th as a national holiday because of Tua. I mean, that 2nd and 26 pass against Georgia in the national championship as a freshman who came in to replace Hurts, like, I don't know. He's got to be, I don't know. In my mind, that cements his legacy at Alabama,
I'll take ours.
So, yeah. Yeah. Whatever. I mean, you go Bryce Young, go Tua.
I was thinking you'd say McCarron. You picked all those running backs. You need somebody to hand him the ball.
We just didn't throw the ball.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You picked all those running backs.
Why don't you go Jay Barker? Wasn't he like 31-1 or something?
I love me some Jake Barker.
I know you do.
A 92 national champion.
Yeah.
Dabo Swinney was a receiver on that team.
Yeah.
Antonio Langham, George Teague. Like, I could have gone pretty deep. Curry and Copeland on the defensive line on that team. I almost went with some 92 guys. But I didn't.
Todd, I'll tell you who it hurt me to leave off because I absolutely love this guy. So I had some steal another honorable mention, but it hurt me to leave off DeMarcus Walker because I talked about like Jalen taking over games. Like, D-Walk like took over some games and, be like Bjorn Warner is another one that kind of did the same thing. But like D-Walk would go off for like 3 sacks in a row or something stupid, and I tried to leave like super recent guys off, just like recency bias. Cause I know that Braden Fisk and Jared Verth had nice careers here, but everything from 23 is tainted in my mind. It just is, man.
Why is that?
But because of your team.
Yeah.
Because of Saban retiring. That's why. But D-Walk, man, was so much fun on those Jumbo teams.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's just a who's who. When we were looking at games first, and then we went to players, I was going to talk about the 96 FSU and a Florida game because I was at it and we beat them. They were number 1. We were number 2. We blocked a punt, stormed the field, carried the goalpost down Tennessee Street. Yeah. But like that team, it was like, I was just naming some players like Peter Warwick, E.G. Green, Andre Cooper, Warwick Dunn, Trey Thomas, Walter Jones, Dexter Jackson, Samari Roll, Mario Webbers, Corey Simon, Peter Bulware, Andre Wadsworth. Like all those guys are pros, like really good pros.
Wow.
And that's not even the Florida side with like Javon Curse and Werfel and Fred Jackson and
was I
Fred Taylor. It was just so
team.
much. Like, the talent was crazy back then. So, no, definitely D-Walk could take over a game. He did a couple there, where he, like you said, he'd get 3 sacks in a row, and it's like, wait, are they blocking him? So, but hey, I know we're up against it, TJ. I appreciate your time, man. Let's do it again, and we'll, I guess we'll meet or get on maybe later in the week to talk about, Bama's game and FSU's game.
Cupcake Saturday in the SEC.
Okay. And then we'll probably need to talk about the rankings because those were probably out tonight. So
yeah, they're going through them right now.
Okay. We were talking about this offer. We need to do this We need to do this at R&R next year for the game.
Yes. Yeah, Todd. You need to experience R&R cigars.
So when I went up there last year, the only time I went up for the Georgia Bama game. Tough game to watch in person.
I should have worn my R&R cigar shirt.
But I would have, but it's crimson red.
Yeah, it is.
So right. I couldn't do it. If he'll make me one in garnet, I'll wear it. But
so what is R&R?
It's a cigar bar in Tuscaloosa. It's the cigar bar in Tuscaloosa. Let me put it like
Good
that.
Plug.
Like the dude had a segment on ESPN during the Tennessee during Tennessee week that all the Alabama players get their cigars from this place.
Yeah,
and they've got great bourbon. Like
I
don't know what 150 different kinds of bourbon or something like that.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back up there. Last year when I went for that Georgia Bama game, I was sober. And so, I'm back on the wagon now. And so I'm ready to, or I don't know if it's on or off, but yeah, I'm ready to get back up there. I may need it if Mike Norvell is still my coach. But yeah, I'm ready to try all the bourbons this time. Cause he's like, yeah, I got this, then. I'm like, I'm not drinking right now. And so I will
Baker and I are
not
going up
drinking
there next year. So
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we should do a podcast from his place.
It's it's the cigar mansion. It's
Cigar
like
mansion.
a huge, yeah. It's not just a cigar shop. It's a huge mansion.
Yeah,
filled
it's
with
like
cigars.
it's a former house in Tuscaloosa that has now been transformed.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's
let's do
awesome.
it. Couple mics, a laptop, we're good.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay. Look forward to it.
All right, man. TJ, I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys for hanging out. We'll do it. Like I said, we'll definitely do it before next year or before the game. It's not the actual kickoff, which I realized this week, but yeah, I'm down. Let's do it.
Great. All right, man. Good to see you. Good luck on your next podcast.
Thanks, boys.
See you.
All right. See you.